John Gruden, who then became the head coach for the Oakland Raiders, that offense went down and really was never able to regroup and get to the place they were 2 years ago. But he comes here, he has Sherm Lewis now installed as the offensive coordinator. Sherm will call all the plays, and he has this man, Brett Favre, the best quarterback in the NFL today right now.
Brett Favre will play 2 or 3 series tonight, maybe a quarter and a half. We're about that point into the preseason, just to try to stay sharp. Opening day is 3 weeks away. Bubby Brister will play about as much as Favre on the other side.
They just want to get these guys into some sort of rhythm. They don't want to risk any injury. Last week, the Green Bay Packers played the New York Jets. Their offense did a pretty good job. They came out, they moved the ball. Brett was sharp. Their defense, however, gave up 271 first-half yards to the New York Jets, and that caused some changes on the defensive side of the ball for the Green Bay Packers, which we'll talk about when we see their defense.
Mike Shanahan in his 5th season, having guided the Broncos to the Super Bowl title in each of the last 2 years. Jason Elam, who last year kicked a 63-yard field goal to tie Con Dempsey's National Football League record, to kick to Shaheen Arnold and Basil Mitchell. It's the same music they use at Lambeau Field, and it's either a botched kick or an attempted onside kick at the outset of the game, which is recovered by Edwin Watson.
That was definitely an attempted onside kick. Something that you might want to try in preseason just to see what happens. You know that you could see Mike smiling right there. It's no big deal. Let's just give it a shot and see what happens.
Well, he's smiling because it's a preseason attempt, as Jason Elam really gets things stirred up here. But Watson is alert to the cause. Edwin Watson is trying to win the backup running back job to Dorsey Levens, and doesn't hurt his chances with a nice special team play right there. At the 47-yard line, the pass to Levens for a minimal gain. It'll be 2nd down. Tackled by Darius Johnson. Let's take a look at the Green Bay offense. Brett Favre, the league's MVP in '96 and again in '97. Guided into the Super Bowl title 2 years ago. He has Levens and Henderson in the backfield, Mays and Schrader outside. Tyrone Davis, the tight end for the injured Chimura. Verba, McKenzie, Winters, Rivera, and Dotson up front. The other name that's missing is Antonio Freeman, their best wide receiver. A late signee, could play, but they'll hold him out. He'll be in action next week. This is Dorsey Levens over the right side for a gain of 1 to the 45-yard line. Tackled there by Al Wilson. Tanovasa, Lodish, Traylor, and Alfred Williams up front. In the middle is Al Wilson, the linebacker, their #1 pick out of Tennessee, flanked by Mobley and Romanowski. Glenn Cudrez is hurt and not in uniform. Crockett and the former Chief Dale Carter at the corners. Johnson and Brown are the safeties. Steve Atwater is gone. He is now a New York Jet. And there's Mark Chimura with, in effect, a sprained neck. Could play. They'll hold him out. They say he'll be ready by opening day. Here is Favre. Pump faking and throwing. Hits Schrader. Got free inside the seam and takes it to the 24-yard line. Ray Crockett with the tackle.
One of the things that we will not see tonight is Antonio Freeman, who they just signed to a big contract, a 7-year, I believe, $42 million deal. So these other receivers, Schrader, Mays, guys like this are going to be battling for a starting spot opposite Antonio Freeman, and Schrader right there shows good toughness going over the middle.
First down at the 28-yard line. Favre going deep, and it is Schrader trying to get position as Dale Carter stayed with him. And Dale Carter, a great corner for years with Kansas City, not only leaving the Chiefs, but going to the Chiefs' primary rival.
Two things happened on that play. Alfred Williams shot through and got into Brett Favre's face real quickly. You could see there. And Dale Carter staying right with Schrader. And these are the reasons why Mike Shanahan thinks his defense is much better this year, is because the cover skills of Dale Carter. Right there, he turns his head and makes a play for the ball.
2nd down and 10. You can see the water coming up at the end of the play. It's rained here most of the day as Favre goes that way again, and this time Schrader breaks off the pattern, looks for the flag, and doesn't find one.
We'll have a flag in the backfield, though. Looks like it's probably going to be holding.
Yeah, the flag is not in the defensive backfield, it's in the offensive backfield.
It's usually the side of holding unless there's some sort of defensive player that did something that they're not supposed to do. It's holding.
Jerry Austin is the referee tonight. Schrader was looking for a call. The penalty had nothing to do with Schrader.
Guard, 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
That's Raleigh McKenzie.
Take a look at Dale Carter looking in the backfield, trying to cheat a little bit. But you can't do that. That's you can only hit them 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, any further down there. But I'm sure that the official thought that he had established ground and was going to consider that incidental contact.
Second down and 20. The ball is at the 38.
It's interesting. Dale Carter got away with one there.
Underneath is Henderson. And Henderson is tackled at the 30-yard line. 12 yards shy of the first down. John Mobley undercuts him.
You know, interesting, Al, we think about the Green Bay Packers, and everybody wonders, are they a Super Bowl caliber team? You know, they went 11-5 last year. Brett Favre threw for over 30 touchdowns again. William Henderson was hurt a little bit last year. Dorsey Levens was hurt. Antonio Freeman was hurt. Robert Brooks was hurt. And yet, they still won 11-5. If they can keep these guys healthy, they'll be right there at the end.
And they were distracted all season long by the Mike Holmgren saga. Would he stay or wouldn't he stay? And, of course, Mike is gone. Now it's Seattle. Pressure that time again from Alfred Williams. The second time he's put a lot of heat on Favre and forces the incomplete pass. So Green Bay, through all of those distractions, when we're talking about them, and there is Sherman Lewis speaking into the headset. In front of him, Emmett Thomas, the defensive coordinator.
This is just a blitz right up the middle. One of the things that the Denver Broncos defense does so well is disguises its blitz. And Greg Robinson, the architect, the defensive coordinator, does a real nice job of watching, putting Alfred Williams over the center, who's usually a defensive end, and bringing him up the middle with a linebacker.
Now this is a 47-yard field goal attempt from Ryan Longwell. And it is good. In Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers have been playing preseason games here since the mid-'80s. They lead 3-0. Longwell's kick is fielded up at the 9-yard line by the good-looking rookie Chris Watson. And Watson, who has probably won the run-back position for Denver, both in terms of kickoffs and punts, and has done a good job in the secondary as well, takes it back out to the 35 as Bubby Brister comes into the huddle. Bubby made his NFL debut in 1986. He was a third-round choice of the Pittsburgh Steelers, now at the age of 37, inheriting the Denver Broncos from Elway. Davis and Griffith in the backfield, Smith and McCaffrey outside, and Shannon Sharp is the tight end. Up front, good offensive line, Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, the Pro Bowler, Neal and Matt Lepsis, along with Trey Teague, fighting it out for the starting position at right tackle. That's the one battle they do have going offensively, as Brister on a roll, throws on the run, and has it picked by Newsome. Craig Newsome intercepts Brister's first pass.
Bubby should have just thrown it out, and he took a chance and thought Newsome had his back turned to him, but just throw it away when you get outside like that. And one of the things that Bubby has done in the past is, and Mike Shanahan told us last night, last year in his first start, he threw an interception the first play. It's nerves, and you have to calm down, and when you start out like this, he's trying to force it to Ed McCaffrey. You just got to throw the ball away and just forget about it and come back and take 2nd and 10.
You could almost see him mouth the words, "My fault."
Right. Well, he knows. It's one thing, and there's Brian Greasy, the backup, who had a great game last week, but according to Mike Shanahan, clear-cut #1, and that's Bubby Brister, and things like this happen, but you just got to forget about it and go on.
The other quarterback on the roster is the veteran Chris Miller, who hasn't played since 1995, but won't tonight because of tendonitis and is throwing on it. First down, Green Bay at the 46, Pack leading 3-0.
You see Brett Favre is audibling right here because he reads that there's no safety back deep in the middle.
And with the play clock down to 2, Favre throws, caught at the 38-yard line by Bill Schrader.
Favre took a whack on his, it looked like he got hit by John Mobley, and right now I can tell you the Denver Broncos are coming after Brett Favre. That's about the 4th time he's been hit. The great thing about Brett Favre is that he likes to laugh and giggle a little bit, but it looks like they're going to take him out and bring Matt Hasselbeck in.
Matt Hasselbeck comes in a couple of days after Rick Meyer gets sent to the New York Jets. So they go from the most durable quarterback in the league to a guy who has never thrown a pass in the National Football League. Matt Hasselbeck out of Boston College comes in immediately on 2nd down and 2 at the 38-yard line. Levin It stood up initially by Mobley, but then overruns him and picks up the first down. And if there's one nightmare scenario for Ray Rhodes, Boomer, it would be the loss of Brett Favre.
The two teams we're watching tonight have such significant players in terms of Brett Favre and Terrell Davis. You can see the consecutive starts by QBs right here. Brett Favre is second, and the streak is still going. But I think everybody right now, for the Green Bay Packers, fans included, are holding their breath, hoping that that's not a serious injury. And it looks like it's his right throwing hand.
First down at the 34-yard line. Levens, and he is stopped for a loss. Well, Ron Wolf of the Packers has done a fantastic job, the architect of this team through the years, not only in his player procurement, but hiring Mike Holmgren. He took a chance last week, sent Rick Meyer away. Meyer, with a lot of experience, and Hasselbeck is the number 2 guy right now.
And you can see Brett Favre looked like he hit the outside of Mobley's arm with his thumb when he was throwing and following through. But right now it doesn't look like he's too concerned about it. So he's trying to grip the ball. He might have stretched a ligament or two. Nothing too serious.
Second down and 12. Jake Plummer is another guy who had to come out of a game with an injured thumb this weekend, the Arizona quarterback. And that pass is almost intercepted, and a flag is shown, in fact, 2 of them.
Ray Crockett with the interference on number 39, Ray Crockett.
Derek Mays, the intended receiver.
Hal, you mentioned Rick Meyer.
Interference. Number 39 of the defense. Automatic first down.
And one of the reasons they traded him was because of not only Matt Hasselbeck and what he did last week against the New York Jets, but also they have a good-looking young rookie, Aaron Brooks, from Virginia on the squad, and both of those players have played really well. And you could see the contact by Ray Crockett. I mean, that ball's uncatchable. I don't necessarily know that that's interference.
But it drew 2 flags. 19-yard penalty, the ball at the 16-yard line. Studs his way for a gain of 3. If the name Hasselbeck sounds familiar, Don Hasselbeck had a pretty good career as a tight end with, in particular, the New England Patriots for a number of years. That was his father. Matt, the son, wound up going to Boston College and played there for Dan Henning.
Right, and you can see right there he had a great game last week, and it was the second half.
Let's go back to the Favre play again. Hit by Mobley, and watch when he lands as well. And Brett still grimacing, and of course we'll get a report as quickly as we can from the sidelines. It's second down and 8 at the 14-yard line. Hasselbeck for the end zone, and it is caught. Great catch by Tyrone Davis over Mobley.
What a terrific throw by Hasselbeck, threw it right where the defender couldn't see it. And Tyrone Davis is a tall kid. He's 6'4". You just throw it up. He's got real long arms. He can go up and get it. And one of the real good things about having players that are a little bit dinged up, Chamora and Favre now, you can see what the future holds if something happens during the season. And Tyrone Davis is the backup tight end.
Davis, a tight end in a wide receiver's body.
He started as a wide receiver for the New York Jets, I guess back in '95. And you can see right here his athletic ability is more like a receiver.
And well for the point after. So the Packers...
He hit his right thumb. They believe he hit it on someone's helmet. He hit his right thumb. It's taped up. It will be the coach's decision as to whether or not he plays again.
Well, it was Mobley's helmet as the kick is run back by Chris Watson. And Watson out of Mike Shanahan's alma mater, Eastern Illinois, with a good run back. Well, they may be telling us they can determine if he's going to play or not, but it's going to take him about 4 minutes to unwrap that bandage for starters.
I don't think we'll see him again, Al.
10-0, Green Bay. Australia, obviously.
You care to elaborate on that?
Well, he got a lot of publicity when the Broncos made that trip down under, as Terrell Davis slips on the soggy AstroTurf. We mentioned before that it rained most of the day. They had thunder showers in and out throughout the afternoon, but right now the conditions are good. Booker, Dotson, Brown, and Holiday up front. Reggie White, as you know, has retired. The linebackers for Green Bay are Kuntz, Harris, and Williams. And in the secondary, Newsom and Williams outside, McGarrahan for Leroy Butler tonight, and Sharper are the safeties. Butler with a tender ankle. If it was a regular season game, he could play. Nothing serious. Second down and 8 from the 46-yard line. As Bristler throws, and it's caught by the fullback, Howard Griffith, seeking the first down, and appears to have it shoved out by Brian Williams.
What I like about that throw is that as a quarterback, after you throw an interception, you have to have a short memory. And you have to get back out there, and you have to throw the ball with somewhat of with a little authority. And right there, he threw the ball right on the money, made his decision quickly, and got rid of it.
First and 10 at the 37-yard line.
Decisive and quick, and that's the way this offense runs. You have to get back. You have to get back on your fifth step and get rid of the ball and make your decision.
Terrell Davis, over 2,000 yards last season. He's had a good preseason. Of course, when you're Terrell Davis, you play very sparingly in preseason because they use the life out of you once September comes around.
Yeah, this is the guy right here why Bubby Brister will have a successful year, or Brian Griese, whoever's playing quarterback, because he will gain over 2,000 yards. He's a tremendous athlete, and really 2 years back-to-back, just outstanding.
Big Gilbert Brown in the middle.
He looks a little thinner to me this year. What do you think?
What do you figure, 370?
I think it's that much.
First and 10 from the 23-yard line. And Davis spins his way down to the 22. What do you figure Gilbert's in at right now?
I would say closer to 345, 350. And I've actually seen him bigger than that. And we talked to Ray Rose specifically about Gilbert's condition. And Ray has taken a personal, or putting personal attention right to Gilbert to make sure that he does his conditioning after practice, to make sure that he keeps his stamina up. And we tried to take him out of a situation in practice one day on a third down situation, and Gilbert didn't want to come out. So that's a good sign that maybe mentally he's thinking that he should be in there on third down.
The blip is up as the weather has cleared, providing the scenics above Madison. Brister rolling right, well conceived and designed play as Sharp makes the catch close to a first down.
But this is why Terrell Davis is so explosive and so dangerous. You fake a pitch to him, you get the defense to overcommit, you run out the back door, a bootleg, and out comes Shannon Sharp, the most talented tight end in the NFL. You throw him the ball and he gains a first down for you. And it's just a little pitch and catch. It's not difficult. Shannon goes down on the ground to kind of make sure the safety doesn't follow him, and this is easy. And you can do that because you have a great running back in the backfield.
Comes up inches shy of the first down, third and inches from the 14-yard line. Back will go to Davis, and some count on Terrell as he takes it down to the 12 and a first down.
We were talking earlier that the Packer defense gave up 271 yards in one half versus the New York Jets last week. And one of the things that they were doing when they first came to camp is they put Bonnie Holiday in Reggie White's old spot, which was the left defensive end. And then now they moved them back, and they started Vaughn Booker just to hopefully stop the running game a little bit, and so far that has not been the case.
There's Davis in '97, first player in NFL history to reach all those levels in one season. I mean, a spectacular year. And then all he did in '98 was eclipse every one of those numbers. From the 12-yard line, Davis again fights his way down to the 8-yard line behind the Howard Griffith block.
Having over 5 yards a carry last year, I mean, that is just an absolute astounding number.
There are the numbers again. In 1998, as you can see, more carries, more yardage, better average, more touchdowns. The only difference was in '97 he was the Super Bowl MVP. Last year he let Elway win the award.
Well, John had a great game last year.
Terrific. 4.5 to go in the opening quarter in Madison, Wisconsin, where the Packers have been playing preseason games since the mid-'80s. On the campus of the University of Wisconsin, the Rose Bowl champions, all kinds of movement up front. Jerry Austin's crew officiating the game tonight. Was it a false start? That appears to be the indication. If it is, it's on Trey Teague.
Ball start, number 70, 5 yards, still second down.
That's a guy who can't afford a false start in this situation because he's battling for the starting job.
Well, he knows that he has a job on the team. There's no question, because he backs up the left tackle and is in a fight with Matt Lepsis at right tackle. But, you know, if you want to start the season, you want to start the season on a high note. That's not the way to get your name in the papers.
Ball back at the 13-yard line. Second down and 11. dropped. Howard Griffith, normally sure-handed, the fullback, floating over the middle, and it's incomplete with under 4 minutes to go in the period. So John Elway retiring. And remember, it was John who pretty much waited until April to make the announcement. So Bubby didn't know himself until springtime that he'd be the guy.
Well, just knowing that you're the guy with this offensive team is a pretty good thing. I don't care when they tell you. I don't care if they tell you the day before the first game. This is not a bad team to be the quarterback of.
Not a bad coach to be the quarterback for either. Mike Shanahan, at the age of 47. He is still younger than most of the coaches in the league. Brister takes off, and Bubby gets knocked down at the 10-yard line. Hit there by Brian Williams first and June Waddy second.
Well, he does play a little bit on the reckless side, and certainly you saw it there. He needs to know a little bit better, get down, and Mike Shanahan's probably telling him that right there. Just don't take the hits like this. And those linebackers and defensive linemen usually don't get an opportunity to hit a quarterback flush like that. And when they get that opportunity, man, they're going to lay it to you.
Jason Elam, perfect in extra point attempts last year and near perfect in field goal attempts. Went to the Pro Bowl. 28-yard field goal attempt is good. But this guy's clearing about an hour before the kick. Full house looking on. And the kick comes down to the 10-yard line, where it is taken by Jaheen Arnold. And he's tackled up at the 23. Here's a reminder, coming up Saturday, the Little League World Series presented by Mongoose, Saturday, August 28th, live at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. And Toms River defend its championship title, Little League World Series. Always a staple for years and years on ABC's Wide World of Sports. The championship game this Saturday.
Did you watch those games this weekend? They were great.
I saw some of them.
Oh, those kids are terrific.
It's been a part of the Wide World schedule for years, and it's become something that a lot of people look forward to, especially with the reemergence of the U.S. kids over the past few years. On first down, Hasselbeck from the 23-yard line gets taken down by Mike Lodish. This preseason special is being brought to you by the people inspired to build vehicles for your mind and heart. Nissan, driven. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. And Charles Schwab, providing people, technology, and support to help you gain financial control.
Is that how you got here today?
Well, you know, it rained a lot today, but
not that much.
That is either Lake Mendota or Lake Monona. I'm not sure which. On 2nd and 12, Dorsey Levens to the short side of the field, and you can see how much rain there was today as the guys begin to make their cuts. Down they go.
Well, there's two types of shoes that you can wear. I'm surprised they're not wearing the longer bottoms to make sure that they don't slip like that. But it's good to see Dorsey Levens back running full speed, and after breaking a leg last year, he came on at the end of the year, had a good playoff game, but it was good to see him back running full speed again.
3rd and 8. Yeah, Levens, it was a wasted year, in effect. And he had the contract holdout, signed just before opening day, got hurt the second week, was never the same. And now he's completely healthy with a different outreach that he should make. 3rd down and 8, as it is caught at the 36-yard line by Tyrone Davis.
You could see why the Green Bay Packers traded away Rick Meyer. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck is standing in there and firing the ball and putting it on time and on target. And Tyrone Davis is making most of his opportunity while Mark Chimura sits on the sideline. Look at this. This is a nice delivery. It's away from the defender, and Davis does a really nice movement with his hands and catching the ball.
Well, when it comes to spotting talent, I mean, you look at Ron Wolf's track record, and it's pretty terrific, especially at the quarterback position. As Hasselbeck on first down throws, and that's incomplete. It was Wolf who traded for Brett Favre. It was Wolf who had Mark Brunell. Remember, Brunell was there as the backup. And, of course, the Jacksonville quarterback. He had Ty Detmer there as the backup for a while. A couple of guys, and Ron Wolf is, well, you see Bob Harlan on the right. Wolf was not in that picture. Harlan, the president of the team.
You know, and they're in that West Coast offense. Sherm Lewis deserves a lot of credit. He's had a long time in this particular offense. He knows how to mold quarterback. Certainly, they've hit it big out here in Green Bay.
2nd down and 10 from the 36-yard line. Hasselbeck Lofting one, caught by Schrader. And Bill Schrader going one-on-one with Dale Carter is able to pull it in and move the chain.
Again, another audible, and this time Hasselbeck sees that they have 8 men around the line of scrimmage, and what Denver is doing is confusing the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers, and Alfred Williams is getting back in the backfield scot-free. But Hasselbeck audible to this play, and Schrader does a really nice job of getting away from the defender.
Schrader, born in Wisconsin, raised in Wisconsin, went to Wisconsin lacrosse, and the only pro team he's played with is the Packers. As Mays makes the catch, escapes the first tackle, and that enables him to pick up the first down as he breaks an Eric Brown tackle and gets to the 37.
Well, we're seeing a good battle between Mays and Schrader, the 2 wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers. One of those guys is going to go to the sideline when Antonio Freeman suits up next week for his debut. And one of them will move over to the wide receiver spot opposite the tight end. Because this particular position right now that Mays is playing will be occupied when Freeman comes back.
Under a half minute to go in the opening period. Green Bay up by 7. First down, Packers at the Denver 37-yard line.
There he goes. He's audibling again.
A strip back set. And a quick throw, but too high, intended for Mays. It'll be 2nd and 10. Let's go to Leslie.
Al, Brett Favre is in pretty good amount of pain. The pressure wrap will come off at halftime. Dr. Patrick McKenzie will take a look at it. They'll put the wrap back on. He is done for the night. He's just in pain for this game, but he is in no danger of jeopardizing his 109 regular season straight starts. Al?
Thank you, Leslie. And there was the play again. Boomer, why would they not take precautionary x-rays?
Because it's not broken. It's just, it's one of the tendons in the thumb. He probably hit it on the ground or on Mobley's arm. And he can tell if it's broken. And they'll probably take the x-rays at halftime, but there's no reason to.
Darius Johnson breaks up that pass intended for Thomas in 3rd down.
Here you see the right hand of Brett Favre, and not certainly the thing that you want to see if you're a Green Bay Packer fan. Yeah, the other thing, too, is we have to remember, Andy Reid was here last year, who is now the new head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Mike Holmgren has been here his entire career. I mean, these are two guys who've had an enormous impact on his career. And it would have been nice for him to be able to play a few preseason games without those guys here.
3rd down and 10 at the 37-yard line. Hasselbeck, little shovel dump to Levens, and he improvises. He learned that from Brett, and that's a first down at the 16-yard line. The Hasselbeck doing a Favre imitation. First quarter ends. There is a flag down. Jerry Austin is now being told by his side judge that a flag was down. Jerry was ready to send us to a commercial break, and instead we've got a flag down. The side judge is Rick Patterson, and the call goes against Denver.
Just defense. 40 the defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
That was Dale Carter, and that's the end of the first quarter in Madison, Wisconsin. Packers up 10-3, and back we come after this message and a word for ABC stations. Injured his right thumb, has it wrapped on the sideline, but clearly done for the night. Matt Hasselbeck is the quarterback as he hands to Dorsey Levens here on first down for a loss of 1. And there is the other quarterback, Aaron Brooks, who is a rookie out of Virginia. We were going to see Brooks anyway tonight, but originally we were going to see Favre for about a quarter and a half, Hasselbeck through about early 4th quarter, mid-4th quarter, and then Brooks. We might see Brooks a little earlier. Dorsey Levens is out right now. Edwin Watson comes in at the 19-yard line. Watson trying to win the backup running back job. Stays in the block and then turns to accept the pass. And some nifty moves there. So here's a guy who made a nice special teams play to start the game. And some good movement there, tackled by Bowens.
You know, the big question for the Packers is Watson going to be able to pick it up if Dorsey Levens gets dinged, misses a play here or misses a play there. I mean, every team in this league has a deficiency somewhere on their roster. And the big question right now for the Green Bay Packers, but I think they're answering it with the quarterback situation, But can Watson pick up the slack if, in fact, Dorsey Levens goes down during a game? And right here, certainly this is a good sign to see this.
Levens comes back in. Twilight and Madison. Isn't that a spectacular shot? Third down and 6. And they send Levens in motion. Hasselbeck to the end zone. Caught. Mays. Touchdown.
What a terrific throw by Hasselbeck. You can see right here Mays going one-on-one with Brown, and Hasselbeck throws the ball on the money outside and away from the defender, and Mays shields the ball from the defender well with his body.
Long well for the point after. So Hasselbeck being force-fed tonight and operating against Denver's first team defense. A minute and a half into the second quarter, the Packers on top 17-3. Game as Chris Watson brings it back out to the 27-yard line. Tackled there by Lamont Hollenquist, and that's where the Broncos will set up shop early in the second. Full environment here, and so what a segue. Sunday, the kickoff classic. Miami ranked 12th in the preseason poll against Ohio State, the co-Big Ten champion Buckeyes, and they were co-Big Ten champs last year with Wisconsin. Wisconsin wound up going to the Rose Bowl and winning it, beating UCLA. Bobby Brister on first down throws, and it is caught by Griffith, who breaks the tackle, and Howard Griffith turns it into a good game. Tackled by Scott McGarrahan. If you joined us late, Brett Favre hurt early on this play, on which John Mobley, the linebacker, comes in and knocks him down. Favre's hand making contact with Mobley's helmet and then the artificial turf, and then Bubby Brister putting his head down and taking that shot at the Green Bay 10-yard line.
I don't know about that. I don't think I'd be putting my head down. Feet first.
Derek Lavelle is in the game at running back. There is Favre walking the sidelines and clearly done for the night. Brister throws. It's caught by Smith, and he is out of bounds at the 42 and a first down.
Well, people might ask whether or not Bubby Brister has the arm to throw the deep out patterns. Well, the last two plays, he did just that, and that one was a rope, and you could see that he definitely has the arm strength, and he certainly has the poise. He'll stand right in that pocket, and you can see outside to Rod Smith, the ball's on the money, and that's a big concern for the Green Bay Packers, are those defensive backs and how aggressive are they going to be.
Eric Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, as Brister hands the ball to Lavelle. We've been talking a lot about Bubby. We should point out that Brister was out of football in '96. The phone was not ringing off the hook. And it was the linebacker, Bill Romanowski, who had played with Bubby in Philadelphia briefly, who went to Mike Shanahan and said, hey, why don't you look at Bubby Brister? And that fueled it. We bring it up because at halftime we're going to talk to Bubby, and in the interview we talk about the fact that Romanowski is the guy who provided the impetus.
Yeah, here's his fishing buddy back in Philly. That's why. Yep. He needed a new fishing buddy in Denver.
There is Romo looking for a career in player personnel when he's done. Second down and 9 at the 40-yard line. And that's Smith, and there's another example of can Brister throw outside with speed, and certainly he can, as Tyrone Williams provides the coverage. Elway starts last year, and there they are, the numbers on them. It doesn't mean that Bubby's a better quarterback than John, obviously, but interestingly,
it means that this is a pretty good team.
That's right.
What it means.
Exactly. Brister is able to compile a 34-point per game average in the 4 games that he played in place of the injured Elway.
Bubby is throwing the ball outside, but what really is shocking is how soft the defensive backs for the Green Bay Packers are. I mean, they're all fighting for a job on this team.
And this is Derek Lavelle, and he's close to a first down. In fact, they're so concerned about that secondary movement that the Packers spent their first 3 picks on defensive backs.
And if you're a veteran and you're sitting on your team and you know that they pick, and there's Antoine Edwards, their first pick, and you know that they take players from your position in the draft, and 3 of them in the first, you have to really worry about your job security.
Well, Ray Rhodes is not only a defensive-oriented coach, but Ray started his coaching career as a defensive backfield coach and as a player was a defensive back. First down from the 18-yard line. LaVelle again. Back up to Davis, takes it to the 10. Tackled there by Tyrone Williams.
And we saw them last year on Monday night versus the Minnesota Vikings, and Randy Moss just ate them alive. I mean, he had 2 huge games against them. And when you look at this division in the NFC Central, not only are you playing against the Minnesota Vikings with Randy Moss and Chris Carter, but also the Detroit Lions with Herman Moore and Johnny Morton. And then you go to Tampa Bay and Chicago. I mean, there are some great receivers in this division.
And that's why Ron Wolf felt it was imperative to go out and get as many good defensive backs as he could. Second down and 2 at the 10-yard line. LaVelle tries to cut it back and appears to be a little short of the first down. Boomer was talking about Randy Moss. That October 5th game was that Monday night game when, well, that's when you knew the Vikings were for real last year.
And you take a look at the TD lengths, 52, 49, and 44 yards. That's, you know, that's every offense would love to be able to do that in one play and just get off on the sideline and go sit down. But you know, you just cannot allow that to happen. And Antoine Edwards is one of the new kids, and he's an aggressive kid. They like him. He's athletic. He's big. He's tall, and those are the things that you need to combat some of the better wide receivers that you're playing against.
And there is Mike McKenzie out of Memphis, rather, who is their number 3 selection. Third down inches from the 8-yard line. LaVelle close. And Austin says first down. I don't even have to measure.
Ray Rhodes was telling us last night that McKenzie was probably the one that looked like he was ready to play now. Just the way he was carrying himself, the way he was challenging some of the receivers for the Jets last week.
Edwards, Fred Vinson, who's Gimpy out of Vanderbilt, and Mike McKenzie. 1, 2, 3. First and goal from the 7-yard line. Brister might have made it in were it not for the wet turf.
Well, the real key thing there is what Ed McCaffrey did. Ed was supposed to be his receiver underneath, and Ed saw that if he would have turned up the field, he would have taken the defender with him and would have given Bubby an opportunity to run with the ball. And these are the types of things that you cannot teach players. Bubby had a long run on Monday night last year against the Kansas City Chiefs, but nothing quite as graceful as that.
Second down and goal from the 3. LaVelle burrows his way to the 1-yard line. Third down and goal. We will see before this night is too much farther along. Brian Greasy will be getting a lot of action in perhaps after this series. I mentioned Chris Miller before. Miller had been around. There's Greasy. Miller is the 3rd quarterback. He's like Brister. I mean, he was out of football. In fact, in Miller's case, he was out since 1995. But the 10 tonight is going to play tonight.
You could see Gilbert. You could see Gilbert Brown right there, number 93, sitting right in the middle of the hole. That's what a good nose tackle, defensive tackle should do, is sit there, play the gap, and stop the play right at the line of scrimmage.
They give it to LaVelle, and Derrick gets stopped and can't back his way into the end zone. Hit first by Vonnie Holiday. So it's 4th down and goal. This is where there is a difference between preseason and regular season. I think in the we'll see. In the meantime, they're going to take a timeout. So that's maybe a case where there isn't a difference, where you will decide out and they will go for it. At the 1-yard line with 6.5 to go in the first half, and Green Bay on top. Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator. Brister with a regular season game face, at least coming out of that huddle. And it's Derek LaVelle, and he gets stopped. It was Darren Sharper coming up, but there's a flag down at the 2-yard line. In fact, there are 2 of them down. Initial indication, at least one of the calls, is against Denver.
Illegal formation on the offense. Number 77 was on the end of the line without an end. Penalty is declined. First down, Green Bay.
So the Broncos do themselves in. Line up with an illegal formation. Pack holes. 6:34 to go in the half. Green Bay by 14. Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, and Leslie Visser. The Denver Broncos in illegal formation, and we'll get to it in a second. Shannon Sharp figuring in that illegal formation. Green Bay holds first down Packers from the 2-yard line. Matt Hasselbeck in relief of Brett Favre starts this drive by giving it to Dorsey Levens. And Boomer, we're going to go back and take a look at that play. It's a case of, how do you put this? Sharper was sharper than Sharp, in effect. I mean, Darren Sharper makes the tackle, but Shannon Sharp doesn't line up correctly.
Well, you can see right here, Shannon Sharp right here is on the wrong side of the ball. He's supposed to be over here next to Jones. And what happens is Bubby and Sharp, after the play, are talking about the formation, and that is a penalty. You have to be able to be uncovered. You cannot leave an uncovered tackle out there by himself. And after the play, we were fortunate to see on the sideline that they were talking about it because there was a mix-up.
It's like Cinerama in here. This is Levens. Out of bounds at the 6.
We can learn a lot with this.
Yes, we can, especially in retrospect. You know, Boomer, there's such a fine line with a coach and a quarterback in preseason, and you know this better than anybody, but a couple of years ago in a preseason game, we saw John Elway. They didn't know if his career was over that night in Mexico City. Of course, it turned out that wasn't the case. You have a Brett Favre tonight who'll get shaken up. Jake Plummer was hurt last week. You got to get your quarterback sharp, but then again, that's the last thing in the world you want to see happen is to lose him.
You need to play preseason games out for that reason, so everybody can get in some sort of a flow. But the last thing you want, obviously, is to have an injury. I don't think Brett or Jake Plummer are serious. They'll be there opening weekend. But those are the way the game goes sometimes.
Plummer will be out for this week's game against Seattle, as on third down it is Shaheen Arnold, the intended receiver, and Torrey James almost had a pick.
But it just goes to show you why you need 2 quarterbacks. And I think Matt Hasselbeck has shown tonight that he has earned the number 2 spot. Dangerous throw down here. He said he was going to throw it no matter what the situation was, and he has to be a little bit more aware of what's happening out in the defensive backfield.
Fourth down and 6. This is Josh Bidwell, who has not punted well, or did not in the one preseason game, but they spent a 4th-round pick on him out of Oregon. And clearly, when you spend a 4th-round pick on a punter, you want him to win the job, and you'll give him every opportunity. And that's a low spinner that's fielded by Chris Watson at the 47-yard line. And Watson comes ingloriously to a halt at the 40 on this wet turf with 5:13 to go to the half. High above Camp Randall Stadium. This was the site of a Camp Randall, which was in effect in the Civil War, used as a training ground. That's nice. Which one is cute and which one is cuddly is what I want to know. Maybe it's a collaborative effort. First down at the 41-yard line. And Brisker going deep for McCaffrey and knocked away at the last moment by one of the rookies, Mike McKenzie.
You want your young DBs to be able to play aggressively at the line of scrimmage, not worry about getting beaten, and have catch-up speed to go after the football. And McKenzie shows that right there. He is beaten at the outset by McCaffrey. It's a nicely thrown ball by Bubby. And you can see the playmaking ability that McKenzie has, and no wonder why Ray Rhodes feels really good about the future for this young man right here.
Second and 10, the ball at the 41-yard line of the Green Bay Packers.
Tony Jones moving a little bit. The left tackle of the Denver Broncos.
Number 77, 5 yards. It's still second down.
All right, let's go to Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Al, as you know, he's in his 8th season, 3 Pro Bowls, but Mark Shimura is out with a bulging disc in his neck. Mark, first, can you tell us about it, and is it career-threatening?
No, they don't think so. All the opinions we got have been positive. It happened, just the usual wear and tear of training camp, but right now they're just trying to strengthen it so I can get back and take some hits.
We'll be back to the beginning of the this season?
Yeah, all indications are pointing that way.
Well, what about this Packer offense without you, without Brett, without Antonio?
It looks good. Our fellow BC guy, Matt Hasselbeck's playing great. But that's what you need. In order to get to the Super Bowls, you need to have depth, and that's what we had in '96, and things are looking good right now.
What about Brett? Did you talk to him on the sideline? How's his thumb?
Brett looks okay. I think he banged on a helmet. You know, I think they're just being real cautious with it. He wasn't supposed to play that much anyway, so he'll have to take a day off of golf, and then he'll be right back at it.
He won't be giving you those strokes. Back to you, Al.
Thank you, Leslie. A flag down. McCaffrey made the catch. That was one Eagle talking to another. Chimura out of Boston College.
Well,
So is Leslie.
2 fouls on the play. Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 53 of the defense. Pass interference. Number 87 of the offense. Penalty is offset. Repeat, second down.
Again, Mike McKenzie doing a really good job of being in the front of Ed McCaffrey, and Ed McCaffrey pushing off. And I think Ray Rhodes, coming into this game, wanted to see his defensive backs challenging the wide receivers. And that's exactly what he's getting. Watch McKenzie right here, establishing a position, and McCaffrey pushing off. Coach Rhodes has got to be real happy about that.
Second down and 15. Brister out of the gun, throws underneath. It is taken in by Lavelle, and making sure he doesn't get away is Junwadi. 4.5 to go. Here's a reminder, coming to ABC Wednesdays this fall. A new show, Oh, Grow Up. A comedy about 3 best friends living La Vida Loca. It says right here, so Boomer, don't miss it. Oh, Grow Up this Wednesday right here on ABC. Ineligible man downfield against the Broncos is going to negate the last play.
Ineligible downfield. Number 66 of the offense. The penalty is declined. Third down.
Tom Neal in the center, a little aggressive on the screen pass.
This preseason special is being brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. And Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light.
That's the engineering fountain, isn't it?
Yes. Where'd you get that? Third down and 15. And it is Brester who gets sacked from behind. The ball is loose and wasn't recovered inbounds. Keith McKenzie stripped it. And then Matt Lepsis is able to gather it in by the sideline.
Keith McKenzie literally got benched to another position because of last week, and Vaughn Booker took over his spot, but he comes in and makes a play and shows motivation and shows smarts because he comes in behind Brister. Brister's trying to run away from him, and he strips the ball. Very smart, instinctive play.
And Lepsis didn't get it before it went out of bounds, but it didn't matter at that point, or didn't have control of it. It was still Denver football. Tom Ruin, who just got engaged to the Olympic swim champion Amy Van Dyke, and sends one down to the 13-yard line. And Jaheen Arnold out past the 40, the 50, and gets taken down, gets tripped up and down at the 35-yard line, almost all the way. Steve Ortmeyer, the special teams coach. And Rick Dennison looking like the special teams coach that just got burned. Might have tripped over his own man, might have tripped over Todd McBride.
This is what happens when you outkick your coverage. That's a beautiful kick. It's a little bit too far, and Jaheen Arnold takes it straight up the middle. And you can see the speed. Ray Rhodes said he's one of the faster players on the team, and he just trips right over his own guy.
Todd McBride is the man. The ball at the 35-yard line, and they give it to Watson. When the regular season starts, the Packers will have Desmond Howard. They have gotten him back, the Super Bowl MVP 3 years ago, who went to Oakland. Desmond not playing tonight. Just ding, nothing serious. He's in uniform tonight, but not running back kicks. And there he is. He can also play wide receiver.
I mean, we will see him at wide receiver a little bit tonight.
Second down and 7 at the 32-yard line. Hasselbeck guns it over the middle. It's caught by Thomason, another of the Packer tight ends, and he makes it 1st and goal, getting inside the 10. Jeff Thomason.
What you see is Hasselbeck dropping back, looking downfield, pumping, realizing that he does not have his primary receiver has enough awareness to know that he can drill it right to his secondary receiver, his tight end, right over the middle. And again, a nice tight spiral, accurate right into the body, gives the receiver a chance to protect himself after he makes the catch.
1st and goal at the 9.
There's Greg Robinson, the deep
stadium on the campus of the University of Wisconsin, where school is going to be starting very shortly. And next week we will be in Oakland as the 49ers and the Raiders have at it next Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. And then back to 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific for the regular season opener in 3 weeks. On 1st and goal, it's a dump-off pass to Matt Snyder, a rookie out of Richmond, who takes it inside the 5. 2nd and goal.
It's a nice simple bootleg play where you fake it to the halfback coming across the backfield. Then the fullback slips out underneath and runs parallel to the quarterback. And these are types of plays that work very well against over-aggressive defenses. 2nd and goal. Packers have all of their timeouts, but don't need to use them right here. In fact, they'd like to take as much time off the clock as possible and leave Denver with as little as possible.
False start. Number 83.
But not that way.
5 yards. It's still 2nd down.
Jeff Thomason.
It'll be interesting to watch the Packer offense as it unfolds this year, especially in the red zone. When Holmgren was here, they loved to throw in the red zone, and it's one of the reasons that Brett Favre has had as many touchdown passes.
So at a halftime show coming up, and we had a chance to sit down with the heir apparent, Bubby Brister, last night, and portions of that coming up on the Toyota halftime show.
It'll be real interesting to see what Sherm Lewis does with this offense now that he is calling all the plays.
2nd and goal, the ball at the 8-yard line. To the end zone, finds Thomason. What a series for Thomason. Key catch over the middle, false start penalty, and then a touchdown.
You can run plays like this. These are little out and ups where he fakes like he's running it out, lets the linebacker run underneath him, and then Hasselbeck delivers it perfectly right over the linebacker's head.
Hasselbeck now 10 out of 14 for 127 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the kick by Longwell is good. And the Packers go out in front by 21.
Take a look at here. Nate Wayne gets schooled, and Thomason's not even ready for the ball, but makes the catch. You want to find out, well, actually, it's not really the first thing, but you want to find out in situations like this what quarterbacks can do and how they can handle it.
Bryant coming off a fine performance last week against Arizona. He used the ball on the first play to Derek LaVille, so Brister done for the night. Denver's going to take a timeout. And
with Mike Shanahan, he's got Gary Kubiak, he's watching Bubby Brister. There's no pressure on him. All the pressure in the world dumped on Ryan Leaf, however.
2nd down and 3, and that is caught by Andre Cooper out of Florida State, 1st down.
And Ryan Leaf didn't handle it very well. But you could see here just the maturity and the poise that you want to look and see in a young quarterback. And obviously the famous last name, he's been around it.
Sure. And in so many ways, I mean, he's just beginning to look more and more like his father. Facial features, expressions, manner of speaking.
Bill Walsh, who many think...
Prior to the snap, false start, number 70, 5 yards. There will be a 10-second runoff by rule with with the clock running inside 1 minute and a false start. 10 seconds off. Please reset the clock to 37 seconds.
That's Trey Teague, and that's the second false start penalty on him, looking for that starting job.
I was going to say that Bill Walsh, who many think is the expert on quarterbacks, will tell you that instinct is the most important aspect in a quarterback's maturation process, and certainly Brian Greasy has that.
On 1st and 15. That is caught by Chris Doring. Antoine Edwards makes the tackle, and Denver is going to take a timeout.
Somewhere in the NFL next year as the head coach.
2nd and 11. Greasy going deep, throws, caught at the 45, and then running out of bounds because they don't have a timeout. That's Byron Chamberlain. However, only 21 ticks left as Greasy tries to get them down into at least field goal range.
You have a three-man rush and you let the quarterback sit back there like this with really no pressure, and you can see he has the arm strength to get it down in the seams. A nice play by Chamberlain for getting to the sideline and realizing they obviously have no timeouts. I can't tell you how many times I've seen players catch the ball and try to run it down the middle of the field and just extinguish the clock.
At the 44-yard line, Greasy, and that almost has that one intercepted by Anthony Davis, the ex-Chief.
Anthony Davis on the coverage. Second and 10. Ball remains on the
2nd and 10.
Watch his head. His head's looking right the whole time, and Anthony Davis has been around a while. He's smart enough to make a play on the ball.
From the 44. A spread from the shotgun. That is caught by Marcus Nash, but they've got to get up to the line of scrimmage and at least down it to give themselves the opportunity for one more play as the clock continues to tick down. Greasy does not leave himself any time. Thinks he should have at least a second on the clock, but Jerry always
There's got to be at least a second left on the clock.
You would think.
Well, he was pretty nonchalant for them not to leave a second on the clock.
Let's go to Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Al, it was an ecstatic group of Packers going up the tunnel. Ray Rose said that Brett Favre will be fine. He just doesn't want to take any chances and have him play anymore. As for Matt Hasselbeck, Ray Rose said this is the opportunity we wanted to give him, and he certainly has seized it. One of the players said to me that Matt Hasselbeck, who of course could have gone to the Chicago Bears, he's been waiting for this chance, and when Rick Mirer was traded to the Jets, his confidence soared. Al?
And he's playing like it, too. Hasselbeck could have gone to the Bears last year, but had some conversations with Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren and with Ron Wolf as well. And I guess they uttered the magic words, Boomer, to keep him in Green Bay.
They really did, and you could see why they traded Rick Mirer.
Defensively, meanwhile, the Packers looking good in the first half. Bubby Brister's first pass was picked off by Craig Newsome. Then Bubby took that hit at the 10-yard line. And it was Darren Sharper standing up LaVille at the goal line. And then McKenzie, the rookie, breaks up that pass. And Keith McKenzie creates that sack and fumble from Bubby Brister. And so looking very good are the Packers on both sides of the football. Numbers, we'll get to them shortly. But in the history of the NFL, those 6 teams have sought a third consecutive Super Bowl victory, and none of them made it so far as the Super Bowl game.
Well, you realize how precious it is when you get there, and for those of us who only played in one of them, just the fact that these guys have a shot to win 3 in a row is amazing.
And a very decent shot as Longwell kicks off. It is fielded by Leland McElroy at the 5-yard line, and he is brought down up at the 24. And short at the end of that long drive with the Green Bay goal line stand. This is Leland McElroy, and again, because it rained all day, if you joined us late, the weather during the game has been fine, but we had a lot of rain today, and the players are paying the price. McElroy, good-looking back coming out of college, Boomer, at Texas A&M.
He really was. They wanted to give him the starting nod in Arizona. He started a few games when he was a rookie, but just didn't really fit in there. And you could see, like, players like this, have to be able to stay on their feet. They know it's wet outside. They should be wearing special cleats anyway. And that's been the problem with Leland McElroy. Sometimes he runs a little bit too fast.
2nd and 10. Pressure put on Greasy, but he hangs in there and gets it away, and it's caught by McElroy up at the 29-yard line. And a flag is down in the offensive backfield as Greasy went down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 98 of the defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
That's Billy Lyon.
You don't want to hit the quarterback, but even more so, you don't want to hit the son of a great quarterback either. They really get in trouble. You can see that. He tries to hold them up, but they don't want you touching the quarterbacks. After they get rid of the ball, they're vulnerable, and you know it's still a straw-driven league, and you want to make sure all your stars are there. And you don't want anybody getting hurt by plays like that.
So the personal foul penalty gives him a first down up at the 43-yard line. Greasy throws, and that is caught by Marcus Nash, who was their #1 pick in '98 out of the University of Tennessee. One of those they hope will emerge. Let's go to Leslie.
Al, he is the most popular person in this building. He has rushed for more than 4,000 yards. Ron Dane, the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy. Ron, what would it mean to you to break Ricky Williams' record and possibly to win the Heisman?
Well, you know, all the awards and things would be great, but I'm a team player first, and, you know, I'll be happy if we're winning, and then awards and things like that come at the end.
I read or I heard somewhere that actually John Riggins was your favorite NFL player. Why is that?
Well, I grew up in Virginia, so, you know, I watched a lot of Redskins, and I love watching him.
You sort of have that look.
Kind of.
Is it true you have a 2-year-old daughter? Is that part of the reason you stayed in school here at Wisconsin?
Well, yeah, that was my main reason, you know, to stay and to get my diploma. So, you know, me staying and seeing her grow up, and, you know, that was my main thing.
Well, good luck to you. And Alan Boomer, he promises he is not at home practicing his Heisman pose.
The Great Dane, as he's known here, Leslie, on 3rd down and 2. Greasy throwing into traffic, and that's broken up intended for Carswell. McGarrahan is there. Dane had a chance, of course, Boomer, to come out to be drafted this year, but chose to come back to school, and they just love him here.
Oh, you know, just the fact that he came back is reason to love him, and you could see how big he is. I was surprised at how soft-spoken he was. Because when he comes at you, that's like a truck coming at you.
Of all things, Madison is located in Dane County. It's not spelled the same way, D-A-N-E. Maybe they will change the name after next year. Or the spelling. Ruin floats one that is fair caught up at the 23-yard line. A very short kick. Pulled in by Basil Mitchell. EBC, what a great matchup this is going to be. Arizona against Penn State. That's at 1 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday. The first ever meeting between the Wildcats and the Nittany Lions. Two teams, each of which could win a national championship this year. Green Bay has it at the 22-yard line, and the new quarterback is the rookie out of Virginia, Aaron Brooks. And he hands the ball off to Edwin Watson. So when the training camp opened, of course, it was Favre #1, Rick Meyer #2, Hasselbeck 3, and this kid Brooks #4. And then with Meyer on his way to New York, Hasselbeck is 2, and Brooks trying to assume that #3 role.
And this is probably the biggest reason why Meyer is there, is because of the development of this kid. He's 6'4", 205 pounds. He looks a lot like, in body structure, Randall Cunningham. He's that type of athlete. He can move around, and he's got a big, strong arm. Absolutely. And here it goes. Look at this.
A Randall tight move, and a catch is made by Bill Schrader.
And you could see that he fired that ball, was not that high off the ground, and it won about 40 yards in the air. And you can see that when he gets back there and he throws the football with authority, he can really launch it. Watch how he gets back here. He shows real good poise in the pocket. He's looking downfield, doesn't panic, keeps the ball in the throwing position, and then rifles it right down the middle of the field.
43-yard pickup, first down at the 33-yard line for the Packers. Up by 3 touchdowns. Watson did stay taken down. Ray Rhodes would not have to go very far back into his memory bank to think about a Randall Cunningham lookalike, because when Ray coached Philadelphia in 1995, his first year there, Randall was his quarterback.
Exactly right. And but they really, another thing about this kid is that he's a bright kid, he's smart, and he's going to fit right into this offense. And again, he'll be able to watch Hasselbeck, and he'll watch Favre, and he'll be tutored by Sherman Lewis. So he's in a great position to learn, and there's no pressure on him.
And there is Sherman Lewis, interviewed by Dallas 2 years ago for their head coaching job, interviewed last year by Chicago. And this is Watson, stopped after a gain of 1. And I'm sure Sherman was disappointed when Holmgren left and he didn't get the opportunity to be the head coach. But in a way, Ron Wolf talking to Sherman, and he said, you know what? Everybody's saying you weren't the guy that Holmgren always called the plays. Now you're going to get your chance. And if Green Bay can look good offensively, then Sherman Lewis is going to be a head coach in a year or two.
And they've looked good offensively with backups playing against #1 players, which is even more indicative of how good a coach can be.
Look at Ron Wolf, and Wolf said that Rhodes is the only guy he interviewed. When Ray was out there, and they were waiting for Holmgren to make his call, he said, if Mike went, I knew that I wanted Rhodes. 3rd down and 7. And everybody covered. Chris Gizzy falls on him and shy of the 1st down, so in comes the field goal unit. The one thing that Wolf did say in addition, as we look at the play again with Brooks just packing it in regard to Sherman Lewis, he said, I knew one thing. He said, I knew I had to have a guy come in to replace Holmgren with head coaching experience. And that's why he went after Ray Rhodes.
It makes sense when you have a veteran team like this, too. It still considers itself a Super Bowl contender.
44-yard attempt by Longwell. And that is good. Tacking on 3 more for the Packers, and with 9:11 to go in the 3rd quarter. Before a very happy crowd at Madison. It is 27-3 Green Bay. Green Bay, and a 2.5-hour drive. It's about 140 miles. But this is clearly Packer country.
They start them young here, Al. It's really a sight to be seen. A preseason game in a sold-out stadium of this size is just an amazing sight. And it's all green and yellow.
All of Wisconsin is Packer land as the kick is fielded at the 9-yard line by Leland McElroy. And he's brought down up at the 21-yard line. Well, the regular season is 3 weeks away, and on ESPN on Sunday night, the 12th of September, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are back, and that is their regular season opener. And then the following night, we will be in Denver, where the Broncos trying to win it again, open up against the Miami Dolphins. So the opener for Monday Night Football this year, Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins in Denver. On the 13th, on 1st down, McElroy for a gain of a couple, tackled by Anthony Davis.
It's interesting, Leland McElroy fighting for a spot on the team. He needs to do it on special teams. He needs to show that he can break some tackles. When you watch Terrell Davis run with the football, he breaks tackles. Nobody is bringing him down with an arm tackle. Leland has gone down in the past with arm tackles. You have to break those tackles when you're trying to make a football team.
Tough road for him, too. He has Derek LaVille in front of him as well, and that pass is dropped by Byron Chamberlain. Greasy put it right in there, but Chamberlain dropped it. He was covered by Rodney Artmore.
The interesting thing about Chamberlain, he's the backup tight end, and right now, Shannon Sharp, this is the last year of his contract. And Chamberlain has got to show something, and we'll see here right now. You see Shannon right there. Here's a highly motivated player, and Shannon Sharp coming into this year, but Chamberlain's going to need to hold on to balls like this if Mike Shanahan's going to feel comfortable about handing the reins over to him in the next coming years.
Talented guy, a lot of speed, runs the patterns well. Greasy throws, and that's deflected and incomplete. Knocked down by Mike McKenzie. We saw Shannon Sharp. Shannon, we talked about in Australia, creating that big stir down there, carrying on, and when he was injured.
He always carried on.
So now there's a vow of silence from Shannon. He says he's not talking. Of course, the Broncos are going around. They're taking all bets. The over-under on Sharp's vow of silence is about 4 hours.
Yeah, but he has to do a radio show, though, on a weekly basis. He's contracted to do that, right? So does that count or no?
I guess that doesn't. Well, no. If you're talking for pay, that's one thing. But it won't be long and Shannon will be back. We need Shannon. He's hysterical.
Oh, absolutely.
Bruins punt fielded by Basil Mitchell at the 29-yard line, and he brings it back to the 33. 8:09 left in the third. Shannon's talking right now. But Green Bay, our anniversary season, and what memories. Let's go back to 1984, Mile High Stadium in Denver, Packers and Broncos. Gary Ellis, single setback. Dickey handoff right side. There's a bomb and it's All right. Tom Jackson jars the ball loose. It's picked up by Steve Foley. Foley's in the end zone, very first play. 1984, Frank Gifford had the call. That was the game's first play. Denver won the game 17-14. The date, I mean, think about that. October 15th.
Oh. And how about who forced the fumble?
Yes.
Our colleague, Tom Jackson, huh?
At the 33, dating him a little bit, 15 years ago. Basil Mitchell for a gain of a couple, and this is our 30th anniversary season. So from time to time, Boomer, throughout the season, we'll go back and look at some of the memories on Monday night, and there are a ton.
Oh. Be interesting to see what Sherm Lewis does with Aaron Brooks now the second half. They have a nice lead, but you'd like to see him be able to drop back and throw the football and see how he plays under some difficult conditions.
Brooks on 2nd and 9, off the play fake, floats one, and out of bounds was Corey Bradford. Down the stripe, covered well by Torrey James.
And he was covered well, and he ran him to the sideline, and Aaron Brooks has to keep the ball in the field of play to give his receiver an opportunity to make a play on the ball. You'll see the Minnesota Vikings run this all the time, and some of the times they will underthrow the ball to give the opportunity for the receiver to come back and make the play, but that time Aaron Brooks needs to throw it down the field further and keep it inbounds.
Third down and 9. Offensive line does a great job picking up the blitz through the middle, and it's intercepted off the tip, picked off by number 36. That is Trout, Brad Trout. First-year guy out of Valdosta State in Georgia.
Everything's perfect. If the offensive line picks up the blitz, Aaron Brooks, excuse me, sits in the pocket and delivers the ball, and Donald Driver just lets it go right through his hands. He's not fazed by the blitz up the middle. He stands right in there, throws the ball, and Donald Driver's got to make that play. That's the difference between making an NFL roster and going home.
First turnover tonight for the Green Bay Packers, who very surprising last year were -11 in the giveaway-takeaway area, third worst in the league behind San Diego and Indianapolis. And when you're third worst, you normally don't come close to making the playoffs. But they went to the first round as Greasy gets sacked. It is Cletus Hunt, a rookie out of Kentucky State.
One of the real raw finds. They feel like he's a great athlete, and he shows some promise. He's got good size, and obviously you can see there he can run down the quarterback, but still a little green. So they're going to give him some work in preseason. You see him coming off the end here. He's not stopping. He's continuing to move and motor. Getting around Trey Teague, who's actually in that battle for that right tackle spot. Not going to be a great night for Trey Teague when he looks at this film.
2 4-star penalties. That play, 2nd and long, and that's knocked down and almost picked off, and a flag is thrown.
You're going to have holding here this time.
Trey Teague, just better hope it's not him.
Illegal use of hands by the offense to the face, number 70.
Oh, no.
10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Uh-oh. Well, that's 3 penalties on Teague.
Well, it's not good if he's standing on the sideline if they still have the ball. Take a look here. You can see Hunt coming around the corner and then taking an inside move. When you're a tackle like that, you can't be leaning too far to your right. You have to stay on balance. You have to be able to move your feet and get back underneath the defender, and that time Teague did not do that. Now is replaced with Lepsis.
Second down and 25. We mentioned that's the only battle on the offensive side of the ball for Denver. Who starts at right tackle? And Greasy throws, and that is incomplete. And at the 47-yard line, it was Rodney Artmore who broke up the play. 6:40 to go in the third. Back we go to Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Al, Tyrone Braxton was born just 10 blocks right from here in Madison, Wisconsin. He's 34 years old. He's had 36 career interceptions, one of them, of course, in the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 32, off Brett Favre. And Tyrone, how tough is it for you to come back here and not be able to play tonight?
Oh, I mean, it's very tough. That's one of my dreams, to come here, at least play at Camp Randall, and just miss the opportunity.
What about you actually weren't recruited? You never played here in Camp Randall.
I know. I mean, it's a tough situation. I always growing up watching the Badgers play. I wanted to play for the Badgers, but it didn't work out. And but I'm happy with the results, for sure.
You did pretty well coming from North Dakota State. What about the Broncos? How tough will it be to three-peat?
Well, in any sport, it's going to be tough to try and three-peat, but I think we have the type of mentality and the type of players on our team that we can get it done. We just need to concentrate more and learn from the mistakes that we did today.
Well, everyone talked about John Elway winning 2 Super Bowl titles. You spent 12 years with the Broncos. It must have been pretty important to you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody always said, well, don't you want to win one for John? I'm like, shoot, I've been here for 11 years. What about me, you know?
You got that right. And Alan Boomery said the toughest thing tonight was getting 25 tickets for his friends.
Yeah.
Al.
I mean, think about that. He gets the tickets, then he can't suit up. 4th down and 6. Whistles before the snap.
And boy, that takes up your whole preseason paycheck.
Yes, it does.
You have to pay for those tickets, and you don't get paid full salary for preseason games.
Trevor Price, another guy who is in civvies tonight.
Another interesting thing after talking to Mike Shanahan yesterday, he was telling us the conversation he had with Chris Storing, a wide receiver who's been cut a few times in the NFL. He was saying how, you know, hey, Chris, 17 of our starters in the Super Bowl.
Number 95 went into the neutral zone and calls the offense to lift up. 5 yards. It's still 4th down.
17 of the 22 starters in the Super Bowl were either late picks or cast-offs from other teams. And I thought that was a remarkable statistic. And what a masterful job he's done putting players together from other teams that were not first-round draft choices.
Mike is a hands-on guy, not only in terms of coaching, but evaluating people. 4th down and 1 at the 36, and they run an end around, and it's a disaster. Keith McKenzie. Travis McGriff took the handoff, and on 4th and 1, they lose 12.
That's when you go to genius to goat.
Yes, but it's a good thing it's preseason.
Right.
Doesn't count.
They really are.
I love this new toy we
This is
have.
unbelievable.
This is good.
Now watch this thing here. Here is Keith McKenzie of the Packers right here. And here comes Travis McGriff in motion. And he's going to come back on an end around, and you'll see McKenzie stay at home. And this is exactly what a defensive end is supposed to do in this particular situation when we come back.
That was on a 4th down play. Now Brooks hands the ball off on 1st down. And moving through the middle is Basil Mitchell. How great is opening night going to be in Denver, by the way?
Oh, it's going to be terrific, actually. And, you know, they'll be retiring John Elway's jersey, I believe. They'll be doing a big halftime thing for Sir John. And
right.
It'll be great to be there. It'll be a very emotional night.
The Miami Dolphins coming to town.
And Dan Marino, I mean, what can you say about him? It looks like he can go on for another 2 or 3 years.
Right. The Dolphins play in probably the toughest division in the NFL, the AFC East. A lot of people think they could get to the Super Bowl. And that's the way we'll begin year 30 of Monday Night Football. Mitchell again, and he gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage by number 99, Monty Rieger, one of their high draft picks out of Texas Tech. You know, with Elway having his number retired, of course, there's the 5-year waiting period, and then John will go into the Hall of Fame in Canton. You think about the Broncos. They've been to 6 Super Bowls, 6 of them, 1, 2, and yet here is a team that doesn't have a single player who was truly a Bronco. in the Hall of Fame. Now, two guys who've worn Bronco uniforms are there. Willie Brown, but he spent most of his career with the Raiders. And Tony Dorsett, who, of course, spent the majority with the Dallas Cowboys. And no other Bronco. But that'll change in a few years.
Well, I could see three guys on last year's team. You would think that Shannon Sharp, Terrell Davis, and John Elway certainly would all have opportunities to get in. And there are some players that were there towards the late 80s. I think of like Carl Mecklenburg, for instance, who, definitely has...
Holding, number 58 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
Definitely has been a Bronco and certainly played on all those teams and was somebody who really typified the Bronco player of the 80s. There's Bill Romanowski. Another interesting thing about him, he's never missed a regular season start in 12 seasons.
Right, you think about a guy like that, and you go, Romanowski in the Hall, what are you talking about? Then you look at his record played out through the years, the winning teams he's been on, what he's done for those teams.
On the Broncos, the 49ers, and Eagles, all of them playoff teams and Super Bowl teams.
He came up with Bill Walsh. I mean, that's how long Romanowski has played in the league. Walsh was his first coach when he came up with the 49ers, 2nd and 24. Through the middle, Mitchell again. On the subject of the Hall of Fame, we were there 2 weeks ago. A couple of guys I wanted to mention. We talked to all the Hall of Famers that night, but Dick Enberg, who did such a great job for NBC all of those years, won the Radio and Television Award that night. And Art Spander, the longtime columnist from the Bay Area, now with the Oakland Tribune, were also honored that weekend as we wrapped up that Hall of Fame game in Cleveland. And what a night that was with the Browns and with Eric Dickerson and Lawrence Taylor.
Hey, how great was Eric Dickerson?
That was terrific. He was great. He was great. 3rd down and 14. Brooks. Well, nobody's free, and so Monte Rager finally runs him down.
You see the ability of Brooks being able to get away from the pocket and away from the rush, and also not really pushing downfield, knowing that it was 3rd and long and that he's giving his receivers time to get open and not panicking. You can see why Ron Wolf and Ray Rhodes and Sherm Lewis are really high on this kid.
Madison, Wisconsin. What a beautiful city. It's located on an isthmus. It is the only, as far as I know, major North American city located on an isthmus.
Did you know that it was Monday Night Football Day here in Madison?
It certainly was. They were very, very happy to have the ability to host a Monday night preseason game. 75,000 have shown up to validate that as Bidwell kicks one into the end zone. And the ball comes out to the 20 when we come back to Madison on the isthmus. Say that 10 times.
Well, I'm Tim Crumry. That's
Tim Crumry. Remember, Amici's the guy who scored the touchdown in the first ever overtime game, the classic Giant Colt game in '58. As McElroy picks up 5, let's go to the stands and Leslie.
I think you just threw it to me. You know the passion of the Packer fans. The waiting list is 50,000 people for season tickets. This is David Jenks, who's been waiting how long, David?
27 years.
Since the 60s? And why did you decide to get on the list knowing maybe you weren't going to get tickets?
Well, you never know. They might build a new stadium, raise prices, people might drop off. Maybe my kids will get them.
Say this now. How many years are you from seeing the Packers to having season tickets?
I didn't hear you.
How many years are you from seeing the Packers from having season tickets?
Couple of thousand.
That's a true fan. He says maybe his kids or his great-grandchildren. Al?
Is that kid old enough that was screaming behind her? Is he old enough to be up this late?
I don't know. I don't think so. But it'd be a long time before that kid gets anybody's tickets. But you think about the fact, I mean, if you're on that waiting list, if you're deep on that waiting list, you're talking about 6 or 7 generations away from getting selected. As Carswell makes the catch up at the 35-yard line.
Al, you were talking about the Broncos, some of the other Broncos that might be able to be eligible. There's Leroy Butler from the Green Bay Packers, who's not playing tonight. He's been anointed the defensive leader since Reggie White has left. You can see right there, 13.5 sacks over the last 3 seasons. No other DB is even close. But some of these names, Tom Jackson, Denny Smith, Barney Chavis, I mean, Kenny Lanier. Riley Odoms. I mean, some great names.
They've had some good players. You would think, though, by this point, they would have either been in or gotten close. I mean, the longer you go without getting in, the tougher it gets, and then you wind up being selected by the Veterans Committee, if at all. McElroy with a carry there.
Then you have a guy like Steve Atwater, who played here for a long time, who's now with the New York Jets, and he always seems like to pick the right team, so maybe he's going to the Super Bowl this year with the Jets.
He could, and if he does, I mean, that'll just add to his resume and the possibility that he winds up in Kansas someday.
But it's been a terrific organization, especially in the last 15 years.
First and 10 from the 45-yard line. Reese's pass is not hauled in. It hit the ground first. Doring came up as if to try to sell the official on the catch, and the zebra is right there to say no. Gary Kubiak calling in the next play.
Well, we have instant replay, and see right now that Denver might even be thinking about challenging this.
It is possible, because Jerry Austin is moving over toward the far sideline. He's called a momentary timeout.
Inadvertent buzz on the replay. Therefore, we will continue to play. Second down.
What did he say? An inadvertent buzz?
Yeah, so his beeper went off. Maybe he was getting called from home or something.
And well, first of all, he shouldn't. Well, an inadvertent buzz. The coach must challenge. We're not in the last 2 minutes of either half, as this play dies before its inception, and I have a feeling it's Trey Teague again. Oh, yeah,
Number 70.
Oh, man.
5 yards. It's still second down.
Well, we've gotten a few buzzes from upstairs.
But maybe they decided to buzz, and then after they buzzed, the coaches up here said, no, it was not a completion, so don't bother challenging it. And that's probably what could have happened. He said, no, we didn't mean to buzz.
This system is a long way from perfection, believe me. There are going to be some doozies this year. Second down and 15 at the 40-yard line. Carswell.
I say if you buzz, you buzz. That's just all.
The Green Bay Packers lead the Denver Broncos 27-3. Neil Smith, the longtime Kansas City Chief, came over a couple of years ago to win a Super Bowl ring. As we start the fourth quarter, Brian Gracie's pass is incomplete.
So where do you think John Elway is these days?
I know where John Elway is these days. I mean, there's no question. At least during the daylight hours.
You think he's watching this right now?
Maybe, because all of the golf courses are closed as far as...
Oh, there he is. Well, maybe he's over in Hawaii playing.
Working on his short game?
Maybe he's over at Maui playing right now. Where is this?
Could be. Not a course I recognize.
Nice.
John he's a great golfer. I can speak from first-hand experience, having extricated a few dollars from my wallet last February. I think he's about a 1 or a 2.
Well, I know he hits it a long way.
He does. Ooh. He is a complete game. So John enjoying life after football. And again, we'll see him and his number being retired on opening night of halftime in Denver as Tom Ruin's punt. Bounces inside the 10-yard line, then comes back the other way and rolls dead at the 15. Then in the middle is the landmass.
Right.
Lake Mendota was on the left, and that's an isthmus. It's, as Howard Cosell would say, a strip of land with water on each side, connecting two large bodies of land.
You practice this at home?
That's all I do.
It's still first down.
Just trying to get on an album with Norm Macdonald one time.
All right, I see.
27-3, Green Bay on top.
Well, Ray Rhodes has got to be real happy with his defense. I'm sure that he laid into him last week after their debacle against the Jets, and certainly tonight they responded.
First down and 15 from the 9. Damon Parker. He is a rookie out of Oklahoma, and one of those trying to win the backup job to Dorsey Levens, and he's tackled by Artie Ulmer. He's the only guy in Oklahoma history, and I mean, they've had some great running backs down there who've gained 1,000 or more yards 3 years in a row. When you think about some of the people who've come out of that school, headed by Billy Sims.
That's pretty high class when you're able to say something like that.
He has speed. Basil Mitchell is also involved in that battle. Edwin Watson is as well. And this is Parker again.
You can see right there he actually ran through the first tackle, which is the arm tackle, which is something that coaches are looking for. They want to see those running backs that can run through those and keep going and not get knocked down by the first player. And right there, DeMond did exactly that, but unfortunately for him, everybody else stopped blocking.
Packers last year a weak running game, and of course that was due in large measure to Dorsey Levin.
There's the arm tackle. He gets through that one, but certainly the Bronco defense is, and we can get away from Neil Smith in that arm.
New face mask. Levin's last year, the holdout, the injury. Derek Holmes actually led the team in rushing, and he's gone. And Brooks takes off and seeks the first down and comes close, out of bounds at the 24-yard line. And a flag is thrown.
Looks like 2 flags are down, and one in the secondary, one in the backfield.
Jerry Austin, he refed the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. We'll make the call momentarily. All right, Jerry.
Tell us.
Flags on the play. One is going to be picked up because the quarterback was out of the pocket. There was no illegal contact. We do have holding, number 75 of the offense. That'll be penalized. Half a distance to the goal. No, we declined that.
We're not quite finished.
Correction, the penalty will be declined. 4th down.
I'm lost.
Well, there was no illegal buzz going on, I guess.
Maybe we needed one. Here's a reminder, after the game, stay tuned to ABC for your late local news or other programming. Or go over to ESPN Sports Center Monday Night Football postgame show with live reports and analysis. Those are your options after the game.
Well, one thing after the game, we'll know a little bit more about Brett Favre's situation, and certainly if you want to turn to ESPN, I'm sure that they will give it full attention.
Absolutely, and as Leslie said, after she had talked to the various folks coming out of the locker room, the Packers in good spirits, and nobody seems to be too concerned about Brett and the condition of his hand. Josh Bidwell to do the punting here. Line drive fielded at the 45-yard line. It's Travis McGriff who brings it back to the 50. So the Broncos will take it there. 13:03 left in the 4th. Green Bay dominating tonight.
We'll start them young here.
Yep.
This is, what is it out here? I guess it's 9:30. All right, it's okay. It's Packer night.
Summertime. School's out. Right. First down from the 48-yard line. Denver trailing by 24 begins this drive. Leland McElroy picking up about 3. This preseason special is being brought to you by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile dealers. Miller Lite. Taste a true Pilsner. The irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's? And DirecTV. What are you looking at?
Now, we've been talking about John Elway most of the night, but another significant player has retired, and one who had a great year last year, just like John did, and that's Reggie White.
And like Elway, went out pretty much at the top as Chamberlain makes the catch. Byron Chamberlain, the tight end. Reggie White had a very productive year last year with 15 sacks in the 11 games in which he played. There's a flag down. So Elway went out. I mean, nobody can go out more on top than John did.
You know, Reggie White, he kind of resurrected this franchise with his free agent defection from the Philadelphia Eagles. I do remember back when all the teams in the NFL were trying to woo him, and the Jets thought that they had him, and then the Jets lost him. And of all places, he picked Green Bay.
Yep.
And they obviously made him a very good financial offer. But the credibility that he brought to the Green Bay Packers.
That and Wolf hiring Holmgren as Detron Smith makes his first catch of the night and then pays the price on the wet turf.
You know, and really a couple good draft choices. Brett Favre, the trade, and when you sign a guy like Reggie White, it just brings so much credibility to your football team that other free agents want to follow. And you have to give a lot of credit to Ron Wolf to be able to do that. And we saw Leroy Butler before. He is the anointed one, the one that's going to take over that leadership void.
Vaughn Booker, Bonnie Holiday, the starting defensive end. This year is Greasy. Comes out of the pocket and then throws complete to Travis McGriff, rookie out of Florida, tackled by Todd McBride.
Small little things that Brian Greasy is doing now is moving up in the pocket. He knows that the defensive linemen are just pinning their ears back and they're coming after him, and he's stepping up and he's showing poise. He's throwing the ball on the run. He's accurate. I mean, and Mike Shanahan told us he's smart and he understands the game, and you can see right here, no panic. David Diaz-Infante got away with a hold right there. But to be able to throw the ball on the run like that, especially to your left when you're a right-handed quarterback, and put it accurately on the money, that's what you're looking for.
First and 10 at the 40-yard line. Short pass. Detron Smith makes the catch. Flag is down. Relatively penalty-free first half for a preseason game, but as you might suspect, with second and third groups in there, a plethora of flags have been thrown.
Illegal use of hands to the face by number 97 of the defense. 5 yards. Automatic first down.
Penalty is on Hunt as we go to Leslie Bissell. Leslie?
Alan Boomer, just an update on Brett Favre. He did not come out for the second half. He is in the locker room. He's dressed in street clothes. He is watching the broadcast. He will not come out for the rest of the game. And officially, he has a bruised thumb. Al?
Okay, and for Brett, well, they'll wait and see and check how it responds. And then the Packers will go to New Orleans this Saturday and then wrap it up in preseason play against Miami on Thursday, September 2nd. And that is Travis McGriff making the catch. And Boomer, this brings up an interesting point. If Favre is not 100%, Ron Wolf hates to play games on artificial turf, but in New Orleans, it's funny, the only reason he agreed to play there, as there's another personal foul call here on Green Bay, was that they're experimenting with grass in the Superdome.
In the dome, right.
So at least they get to play on some grass or a variation thereof in New Orleans.
It'll be interesting where Brett actually hurt his hand, whether or not he hit Mobley on the side or was it because he came down on the AstroTurf. We were unable to make that determination up here, but it could have been either or both.
Well, Brad, if you're listening to the telecast,
maybe call us
Leslie
up and let
said,
us know.
would you get word out to Leslie? Send one of the kids in the locker room out to Leslie and let us know. First and 10 at the 11-yard line.
Well, you know, if I ever would have stayed in the locker room, I would have gotten chewed out by my coaches.
And Greasy throws, and that is caught by Chamberlain for a touchdown. So Greasy finally able to execute a good-looking Denver drive here with the help of some flags along the way, and makes it pay off with a toss to Chamberlain.
And you saw a little bit of everything from Brian Greasy on that particular series, rolling to his left and throwing, this time rolling out to his right and throwing a nice tight spiral. Standing in the pocket, moving up in the pocket, throwing balls on the money and accurately. Just like his old man.
For the extra point, and that is just inside the right upright. So the Broncos 44 remaining in the fourth quarter. Denver has just scored 27-10. The Packers lead it. And Jason Elam, the University of Hawaii, sends this one down to the 6-yard line, caught there by Basil Mitchell, who comes back up the middle. Good run back by the Packer Young, running back to the 44-yard line.
Oh, you're not going to believe this. We got a call from Brett Favre, and he wants us to show the replay.
He is listening.
So here's your hand, Brett, right here, and Mobley's going to come flying in here, and your hand is going to hit the outside of Mobley's arm, and then your hand's also going to hit the ground. So maybe you could tell us exactly what happened here. And after the game, you might want to talk to Mobley. There it is right there. You hit the outside of his arm, then you fall down on your hand. You look to see if the ball was complete, and then you wince in pain. Watch. There you go. Oh, ouch. So maybe you could tell us where you hurt your hand. What do you think? That could be a first.
I think Brett thinks we're a pay-per-view service or something. Just, call up and ask for a replay, right? From the 44-yard line on first down, this is Edwin Watson tackled by Neil Smith.
Well, this is the 90s. Now, communication. This is what we are. We're a communication business, right?
Very important. And this the University of Wisconsin, known for its communication school and journalist Steve Bornstein, or I guess he still is our boss, is he not?
Absolutely.
Even though Steve has ascended to a higher elevation at ABC as a University of Wisconsin alumnus. I'm here to be honored today. They have a very distinguished group of people who have gone to Wisconsin. Bud Selig, the commissioner of baseball, is a Badger. Brooks throws, and that is incomplete. Jeff Greenfield, longtime ABC analyst, now at CNN, went to school here. Senator Cole. For whom the Cole Center is named. Next Monday night, we go to Oakland. It's the Battle of the Bay Area, San Francisco. The 49ers against the Oakland Raiders. That is next Monday night, preseason football, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And remember, during the regular season, we go back to 9 o'clock Eastern and 6 o'clock Pacific, beginning September 13th with Miami and Denver. Third down and 8 as Brooks throws. And the catch is made across the 50-yard line by Lamont Hall, and he picks up a first down.
Well, there's a lot of question in the NFL the last couple of years. Where are the young quarterbacks? What are they doing? Well, tonight we're seeing 3 of them. We saw Hasselback, we see Greasy, and now this kid Brooks, and all of them look in command. They look like they know what they're doing out there. They look solid, and right here you can see the ball, the nose down, the ball's drilled. It's outside away from the defender. Those are the little accuracy things that you're looking for.
First and 10 at the 45-yard line. Back to the ground they go. Watson picks up 4. On the subject of young quarterbacks, Boomer, the Bengals finally sign Achilles Smith today. So the number 3 quarterback picked overall behind Couch and McNabb. The Bengals tried to sign him, and they couldn't get together, and finally here it is on the 23rd of August, and Smith is now a Cincinnati Bengal.
The only thing I really don't understand about that is if 1 and 2 are signed and 4 are signed and everybody else is signed, how come 3 has to be signed this late in preseason when essentially I don't really know what he's going to give you at this point?
Well, no one better to tell us than you, because you played there all of those years. This is Watson. Across the 35 to the 33-yard line.
Al, playbooks nowadays, you have to be in those playbooks. You have to be performing on the practice field. You have to be around the coaches. Their offensive coordinator, Kenny Anderson, a 16-year veteran of the NFL, a great quarterback coach, a tremendous offensive coordinator with Bruce Coslet. You have to take that knowledge and you have to use it. And it's just sitting there, and then to have this kid sit out for whatever reason just really doesn't make any sense.
So right now it's clearly Jeff Blake's team.
And it should be. And probably was going to be that way anyway, because Achilles Smith hadn't played that much in college. And it's not just about getting on the field and throwing.
There's Watson swinging to the outside. And Watson, with a nice move there to the outside, gets by Chris Watson.
You see all the quarterbacks that were taken in the first round and all the quarterbacks that have been failures in the first round over the years. You see Tim Couch was in camp. He did not miss a day of practice. We saw him in the Hall of Fame game. He looked good. Donovan McNabb is now in Philadelphia. Cade McNown looks like he's going to be the starter in Chicago. And Dante Culpepper could be in the best situation of them all because he gets to sit behind Randall Cunningham and Jeff George and learn in one of the most explosive offenses of all in the NFL. And Achilles Smith would probably be the one that is hurt the most by his late signing.
First down at the 23-yard line. Again. Funny, you look at somebody like Neil Smith here, Boomer. Here's a guy, I mean, you talk about a guy who could go to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's had a fabulous career. But now you come to the end of your career, and it's almost as if you're back where you started, where you're really fighting for a job, and here he is in the fourth quarter of a preseason game.
Yeah, and it gets to be that point. And today, with the salary cap the way it is, and the pressure to always find younger players, cheaper players, players that seem to be more hungry than the older players, the premium is on these older guys to start making plays in the fourth quarter.
Brooks throws back of the end zone and broken up, intended for Zola Davis.
Zola Davis will not make the team, but you want an opportunity to make a play, and you had your chance there, and it went right through his hands.
Holding against Green Bay.
Repeat second down.
Matt Hasselbeck, we saw a lot of him tonight, very impressive in relief of Brett Favre, and clearly doing a whole lot to instill confidence in not only the coaching staff, but Green Bay fans as well, as to a guy who can back up Brett.
And the rest of his teammates. And I wonder, when you think of Peyton Manning and Brian Griese and Hasselbeck, and you think about their dads being in the NFL and them being around, they understand what the nature of the game is and what is expected of a professional football player. And they just seem to handle themselves so well. And the future is bright for both of those young men.
Second down and 19 at the 32-yard line. Into traffic, picked off in the end zone. George Coghill picks it off and comes back out to the 22-yard line. And so down passes for Green Bay. And you look at the state capitol again, Madison, Wisconsin.
I hear that our locker room reporter has gotten back to us.
And we'll have the report momentarily. Griese throws, and that's dropped by Leland McElroy. Second and 10. Leslie, what you got? Aloha, Leslie.
Hello, Al. Via the modern technology, the cell phone, I do know that Brett was surprised when he saw the play. He knew that it happened sometime around then, but specifically he saw it was on the follow-through when he hit Mobley's helmet, so that was reassuring to him to know that that is how he was injured. He said he feels fine now and actually just wants to say hello to his wife and 2 daughters, Al.
Consider it done. Was the call collect? That's all I want to know.
Knowing Brett Favre it was, yes, definitely.
Here's McElroy picking up the first down out to the 33-yard line.
Well, we have new access to the locker rooms this year, don't we?
What sort of?
Before the game.
But Leslie's a bulldog. You can count on Leslie to get it.
I know. She can get any information.
Third down and a long one. They did not get the first down at the 31-yard line. And on the ground, McElroy again up to the 40-yard line. Tackled there by Todd McBride.
That time Leland put his head down and he ran through it and he kept his feet and he made a nice play out of it. Right now, this is the part of the game where the coaches want to see you competing. They want to see guys that have not given up, that are still trying to make plays. And as a quarterback, this is the dangerous part of the game, too. You want to make sure that your guys are all on the same page with you.
From the 38-yard line. It's incomplete. Crowd filing out here in Madison. It's a great thrill for a lot of these people to come and see their Packers. Beautiful city. Had a chance to look around. Named for the 4th President of the United States, James Madison, who was married to one of the legendary First Ladies. Well, she's not noted for her ice cream, or wasn't at that time anyway. Dolly Madison was the First Lady. In fact, very few people know that Dolly served sort of as the hostess at what was then the equivalent of the White House for Thomas Jefferson, who was a widower and preceded Madison. This is Chamberlain to the 42-yard line.
Just keep going, Al.
Well, do you know what else Dolly's noted for, actually?
What else?
When the British invaded Washington in 1814, she helped save a lot of the documents and a portrait of George Washington. In fact, obviously those documents were not in the living quarters of what was then the White House, because those documents have been known to get lost from time to time. But that's another story.
Well, I got one for you. Did you know who Ray Rhodes got traded for?
Tony Dungy.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, I just want to bring him back to football.
Right. On first down, this is Griese throwing to Chamberlain. And he's out of bounds at the 24-yard line. And from football, we go to a promo. ABC Sundays this fall from the creator of the practice, Ally McBeal. Snoops is coming to ABC Sundays this fall.
Oh, that looks
Hello?
pretty good. That looks pretty good.
Was that on this station?
Yeah. Wow.
What's that show again?
What night is that?
Snoops? Sorry, what is that, Lynn? Sunday night, thank you.
Sunday night.
Lynn Vandenberg, our very able and capable kennel keeper up here in the booth, a Wisconsin graduate. As the pass is caught by Chris Goring at the 16-yard line.
You really have to like the way Brian Greasy's throwing the football. He's putting it down and low, away from the defenders, throwing nice over-the-top corner patterns. And right here, he's helping Doring by keeping the ball low, so Doring doesn't take a shot right to the teeth. And every receiver will tell you that that's where they want that little pass, is down low.
2nd and 2. McElroy.
That's the way to run it.
To the 6-yard line behind a Detron Smith block. Coming down toward 2 minutes. The Denver Broncos, again, will have them on opening night against Miami, a team trying to become the first to ever win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Teams have won 3 NFL championships in a row. In fact, it's been done twice by 2 separate Green Bay teams, but the first time in the pre-Super Bowl era, the second time there were 2 Super Bowl wins in 1 and 2 preceded by a league championship. Greasy throwing, and that is incomplete.
He's throwing it away. A smart play, and that's exactly...
Doing a game, a preseason game at a neutral site, such as it is, even though this is Packer country, but fun in a way to come away from the regular NFL stadiums and into places like this.
Especially a college town. And the students are moving back in. It's the 150th anniversary of Madison. Did you know that?
It's the sesquicentennial?
That a boy, all right.
It's the sesquicentennial on the Isthmus?
You know it all.
Okay, baby. Now we're talking. 1:56 left. Greasy leading him downfield to the 6 and keeps it on the ground to McElroy. And it will be 2nd down, and Denver will take a timeout.
Interesting choice of play there.
At the 8-yard line. Pressure, and Greasy escaping, and then throwing and nearly completing it, but incomplete, intended for McElroy. It was Kevin McCullough, rookie out of Texas Tech, who did everything but put him in jail, and Greasy was able to escape.
When you see all the different criteria that they put down for quarterbacks, escapability is one of those things, and it's not about just running around. It's being able to shed off tacklers, and that's exactly what Brian Greasy does here. Now, first of all, he misses the blitz. He should have gotten rid of the ball, but now he makes a bad play into a better play by just getting rid of the football and not taking the loss and giving his team still an opportunity to score. No panic, which is really a nice thing to see.
4th and goal. Walking it to the end zone, and that's incomplete. Kind of a Cunningham, Chris Carter sort of play. Andre Dixon breaks it up, intended for Chris Goring. Little fade.
Just throw it up and let's see what happens.
Yep.
And hopefully your taller receiver will come down with the ball over the shorter defender. And Andre Dixon turns and looks for the ball and knocks it away. See, that particular feat by a defensive back is not as easy as it looks. And sometimes you wonder when you watch these games, you see these defensive backs, they don't look for the ball. And I would imagine that Ray Rhodes takes personal pride in teaching these guys how to look for the ball.
First down from the 8-yard line as the Packers can now run the clock out. Broncos, should they elect to, can take 2 timeouts. But Green Bay with this one well in hand from the 8. Mitchell almost backs into the end zone. Next week we go to Oakland. It's the 49ers and the Raiders. That's our final preseason game. Our illustrious crew headed by our producer Ken Wolf, our director Craig Janoff, Director of Information Steve Hurd, of course, Lynn Vandenberg up here again with us, the old Badger. Our statistician George Hill.
What about
and Harvey down in the truck? Jaime Bravo. And back spotting for the 14th consecutive year, Malibu, Kelly Hayes. Joey Chavo has been the technical director on this package since night one in Cleveland in 1970. Chris Pfeiffer, Billy Bolden, executive assistant to the producer. The whole gang as this one winds up as a safety. Nate Wayne, the linebacker, pops Basil Mitchell. So Mitchell almost on first down went back into the end zone, and this time Wayne makes sure of it.
Now you have a whole bunch of offensive linemen now. Did you have him? Did I have him? Who had him? All five of them are looking at each other wondering, whose guy was that? And Nate Wayne comes through untouched, and that's the way you're supposed to make a tackle. He kind of atones for the mistake that he made early on when he let Thomason beat him for a touchdown pass. So you could take something positive. A nice tackle. It'll be interesting to see the Oakland Raiders with their new quarterback, Rich Gannon.
Right, John Gruden in his second year there. Gruden at one point was the offensive coordinator under Ray Rhodes at Philadelphia. And we'll see Steve Mariucci and Bill Walsh now running the football operation again in San Francisco. A much publicized reemergence of one Lawrence Phillips out of the 49er backfield. Steve Young and Jerry Rice, naturally. That's all next week.
When you look at that Raiders roster, Al, you see all these big-name players. You see speed, and you see so much ability. A team that went 8-8 and kind of faded at the end last year. You have to believe that they're going to be better. You have to believe that their quarterback situation is now solidified, and Gannon's going to give them a little oomph.
Battle of the Bay, a different kind of Battle of the Bay next week. Free kick is fielded by David Bowen. And Bowen's trying to win a job as a backup linebacker, a rookie from Western Illinois, also trying to win a job as a run-back specialist here.
Well, what they have in the league now is they have the practice squad, and for some lucky players, they're a little bit unlucky, but for some lucky players, they'll make the practice squad, and they'll be able to fight their way and stay around an NFL football team and hopefully grow into a big-time player.
Romanowski watching Bowens is the guy backing him up, so he gets a kick at him, as does Greg Robinson. Only in preseason can you be down by 15 and afford to smile on the sideline with 40 seconds to go. McElroy. Happy birthday, by the way, to Mike Shanahan in a few hours. Mike will be 47 tomorrow. There he is in his 5th year and 7th year overall as a coach. And when you think back, it was like in a different life. Mike was the head coach of the Raiders in '88 and part of '89.
The thing that struck me yesterday was just how confident he was about his football team. He said, hey, you know, we got a good team. We got good players. My defense is going to be better than they were last year.
And what might be the final play of the game, going through the middle and taking it all the way down to the 10-yard line as time runs out, was Olandis Gary. And that will do it as Mike Shanahan will go over and shake hands with Ray Rhodes. Mike, the offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl champion 49ers.